Great. Thank you, Kent. And, you know, we felt it was an opportune time to get together today. And it really was triggered by the fact that a public piece that is dropping in people's mailboxes, probably as we speak. And most likely, we'll start construction, the major construction on this project, a year from now. The intended start date for the heavy lifting construction of this project is March of 2014, which is approximately 12 months from now. But as I stated, this coincides with a brochure that's going to be sent to all season ticket holders and iFund donors. It's right here. And really this is consistent with the opportunities that were presented to our constituents for the Memorial Stadium West Tower project. And really what that's about is the opportunity for those folks who've been very engaged in our programs, and for a lot of those people who maybe up to this point in time haven't been, to say, this is how we want to participate. These are the opportunities we want to take advantage of in a new, renovated Assembly Hall. And as you see up here, there's a great shot of the inside of the arena, which I think does a pretty good job of reflecting those different opportunities. But there's a seating diagram of the Assembly Hall next to that, to the right of that shot, which is colors, and I think that, you know, as you look at that, those different colors describe a different opportunity for those people that will be receiving these brochures. And like I said, there might be people that have not participated or aren't engaged in our programs right now that would like to be part of the new Assembly Hall project. Now, that being said, as we move forward, these brochures, there's a deadline, approximately 3 weeks from now, short of a month, April 19th, there's a deadline. And we will be doing some open houses, so to speak. Our iFund staff, our fundraising dream team, who's put a lot of sweat, equity, effort into this project, will be spending time with our different groups of people, the people who are receiving these brochures, to answer the individual questions that they may have. In addition to that, certainly we encourage folks, when they have access to these materials and they thumb through these materials, the question that they have, they certainly can call our iFund staff and our ticket office. Now, as I've said all along, you know, people a lot of times look at this as primarily a basketball facility, and certainly basketball is a primary tenant in the Assembly Hall. We co-manage, and I guess if you want to say co-own this building with Student Affairs, and we are proud of the fact that this is really a multi-use building. And one of the great opportunities, in addition to the many amenities that this will provide our fans, whether they're coming for a basketball game, Star Theater, a rock concert, a craft show, you name it. They'll be offered many amenities, but also the fact that, which will make many of you happy, that we're going to have air conditioning in this new facility, that we'll be able to program it really for another 4 months out of the year when really it's downtime for us. And from a student standpoint, we look at this, you know, our students, one of their first formal acts on this campus is convocation. And we hope one of their final formal acts is commencement. So they really start in this building and in some ways finish their University of Illinois education in this building. I'll talk a little bit about, which I've shared with many of you publicly in the past, that really the timeline for this, really ever since I walked in the door about 18 months ago, a day hasn't gone by where we haven't paid attention to Assembly Hall, the renovation of the Assembly Hall in some way, shape, or form. And we've secured the services of an architectural firm, AECOM, out of Kansas City. Our intent, the timeline, really the beginning, which was going to start all this, was to have schematic designs in late fall, early winter. We received those around the 1st of November. So we've really been out on the streets trying to put the pieces together for a funding model, knowing that we'll go to our Board of Trustees in late May for project approval. Now, I should also say that a few weeks back, in the March Board of Trustees meeting, the board approved the opportunity for us to move forward with our architects on the design development piece of that and the utilities piece of that. Now, what does that mean? Well, when this gets approved in late May, then there's really no interruption in the work. And this summer, there's a good chance we will start some of the utilities work. People could drive by Assembly Hall every day and may not see a lot being done Certainly, the utilities piece isn't something that's sexy to most of our folks that pay attention to what's going on over here in the DIA or the Assembly Hall. But as I said earlier, the heavy lifting of the project really would be a year from now in March of 2014. We will do this project in stages. There won't be a point in time where our basketball programs will be out of this building playing what you would call home games. So the intent is that we play basketball here uninterrupted. So really the schedule as we sit here today, we would start in in March of 2014. We'd go to November of 2014. We'd start up in March of 2015, go to November of 2015. Then we'd pick it back up in March of 2016. And really, the goal is to have the project complete in November of 2016. Now, in saying that, any time before this project is baked or completed, someone could be in the building after the completion of the first two stages, or the first stage for that matter, and see something that's going to look very different than it looked before. And so that's real, and we're excited, like I said, that you know, as I've told people before, this project is approximately $160 million. And you know, when you're building a $160,000 home, you can have interruptions along the way. Some people call them change orders. Well, our hope is to minimize those types of things with a $160 million project so we can stay on schedule as best we can. We are excited, once again, to be at a point where I can say I feel good about the progress that we've made since about the 1st of November. We have made a lot of progress, and really the funding pieces for us as we look at this are the different naming rights opportunities for this building. Within the envelope of this building, there's probably 24 or so of those. As all of you know, there was a student referendum that was passed. We have premium opportunities, which is what started this conversation when I talked about this booklet that people are receiving. 8,000 people will receive that brochure, and the opportunities that they will have on the premium side to help support this project. Then private giving. And I feel really good about the progress that we've made in each of those areas. We are not done as we move along those different areas, and we're doing them all in a parallel path. But we're making great progress, and hopefully we'll be at a pretty good point when we get to late spring, when we go to the board. But also knowing that even beyond the May 29th Board of Trustees date, that we'll still be out there this summer and beyond raising money and spending a lot of time every day working on this project. So that's really, I'll open up for questions. I'm sure if people need greater explanation of the seating diagram over there. Lauren, I was told you already received the 101. Okay, so maybe you can explain it for us. But that really is the diagram that coincides with the drawing of the facility, and you see all the different premium opportunities. I should also tell you that in this new configuration, premium opportunity seating is only 10% of the total seating. Okay, so those folks that are buying season tickets or single game tickets and they're not engaged in this project or not even supporting our iFund, no different than the opportunity today to go to games, that most likely will still be available. Certainly it is our hope that we have people coming to our games and each and every one of them is supporting this project or supporting our scholarship fund. But I also realize that that may not be a reality. But this project, I believe, has something for everyone, including the students here at the University of Illinois. So at this point in time, I'm more than happy to take any questions. And like I said, I think Tom introduced a host of folks in the room, university folks. Some are DIA. We've got Coach Gross here, so if any questions you want to direct to them as well, please do so.
Mike, when this project is complete, is it your envision to apply to host maybe second and third round NCAA tournament games? Or is this part of the reason why you're one of the benefits of this?
Well, I think absolutely. I think our opportunities, whether it's hosting NCAA games, men's and women's side, the opportunity to be attractive for a lot of folks who say, hey, that's a different assembly hall that provides different opportunities than it has in the past. We have an interest in going there, not just for really the 8 or 9 month window that we work through right now, but knowing that changing the climate within the building will make it conducive to program another 3 or 4 months a year.
I'd like to know more about the premium seating options. You just, at the end of your speech, you addressed this, but say somebody has had season tickets for 30 years, they've moved steadily down towards A section, and they don't get on board with the program, but they want to renew their season tickets. They would be displaced from their seats by if enough people buy the premium option, is that it?
Well, not necessarily. We have a priority seating plan for basketball. And the way we've set this up is everything that you see in color, okay, is a premium opportunity, except for the orange. I guess if you want to say the student seating is a premium opportunity for our students who are in the lower bowl. And by the way, we've increased our student seating in the lower bowl from 700 to 1,200, okay? But what you'll see down there on one of those lower bowl, on the side of the lower bowl there is, I believe that's the west side, okay? There's some white, there's an area that's not colored. That is really for those folks who participate right now in our iFund. They're part of our priority seating program, but they do not want to secure, okay, or be part of a premium seating opportunity. So we want to take care of those individuals as well. And we've got a lot of individuals in Section C and Section C, Section B and Section C, I'm sorry, that may be purchasing season tickets or may not be part of our iFund program right now. And I'm sure some of those opportunities would still be available. Yes, Ed.
What does the exterior look like, and is there more meeting room out of the arena space to be added?
Well, we will have more meeting room. Every inch of space in this building will be renovated. And so, you know, even the room that we're sitting in today will be renovated. When you look at the outside of the building, as you leave Assembly Hall today, and you know, people say it has that spaceship look, and you see how the glass is situated. We will push that glass out closer, but not anywhere near the end of the roof line, and when you do that, you've increased your concourse width. So the opportunity is to have more restrooms, more concessions, more points of sales. One of the things we also are going to do, Ed, is do a great job within our concourse areas of reflecting the history of our programs, not just basketball, the 2 basketballs, but our other 17 sports as well, and the history of this school. We also look at having 2 grand entrances. The one on the, I guess you'd call it the main entrance right now, on the west side, which is the First Street side. That'll look much different than it does today. That will have a Hall of Fame space. It'll have a retail outlet. It'll have a ticket office. And then the east side will look much different. It'll be much bigger. It'll be much grander. We'll gear that a lot towards recruiting, and that will funnel into what will be the big club. This facility will have 4 clubs. The big club is 8,000 square feet, which is on the east side. And one of the other things which will look different on the outside of the building, you know, the entrances look different. I've already talked about the glass and the entrance ways up into the facility. It is our plan to have a semicircle drive on the east side of the building that will mirror what you see presently on the west side of the building.
So basically you're going to have 2 entrances, is that correct? I mean, major entrances?
Yes, we would have 2 major entrances because one of the things, a lot of our the premium piece, Lauren, is concentrated on the east side. And right now, you know, we really don't have a drive that accesses that side of the building. So that will be part of this. So we will probably always call the primary entrance or the main entrance the west side, but we'll also have something that look much different, much grander, something that will have a wow factor that once again will reflect the history of our great programs on the east side as well.
What about the name of the building? There's been always talk about a major gift for the naming rights. Do you have that, and when would that be announced if you do?
Well, as I said earlier, we've made a lot of progress in those 4 key areas. I feel good about the progress we're making in that area as well. I'm confident that we'll get that done. But like I said, you know, at this point in time, we're progressing in all the key areas, and you know, as soon as possible. And it's important to us. If we would have, it would be great to have that done now, to have it all ironed out. The same with all of our other opportunities that are going to help fund this project. But we'll just keep chipping away at it. But I feel confident that all those things will come to fruition and will be a good place eventually.
Are there suites available at this point, or are they all gone?
No, there are suites available, but I can tell you the suites are very popular. In that design, we have 12 suites, 6 on each side of the big club. We have over 80 loges. The loges are 4-person mini suites. Those are on the 2 ends of the court. We have approximately 1,000 club seats. In this current design, we have 120 courtside seats. And I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I think those are most of the core pieces of our premium opportunities.
Conditioning come in immediately?
We're not sure what stage that will be in, Lauren. One of the things that we have not done, and we certainly have time to do, is determine in the 3 stages that I alluded to earlier, what would be in each of those stages and how we will sequence that.
Your stages, Mike, will you have a period when you're in the midst of the construction where capacity is significantly reduced? Is something going to be torn up during a period of time where it knocks you down a couple thousand seats?
Well, in the final design, in the final, when the project is complete, we will lose some seating. We will still be north of 15,000, but we will lose some seating. And but at different times, we will not do any construction within the inner bowl during the or anything that would interrupt a basketball season. And most of the seats that we will lose will be in sections A and B, because you know, when this project, when they start this heavy lifting, when they look at section A, they look at section B, and that's part of one of the stages. That's basically, we're starting from ground zero. We are tearing up that space and starting over. And so we will lose some numbers there, but that would not affect any of our competitive seasons from November to early to mid-March.
The final capacity be when it's all done?
I'm sorry?
The final capacity be when it's all done?
Julie, we're looking somewhere around 15.2, 15.3. It'll be in that neighborhood. So we will, in the final product, lose about 1,500 seats.
Whom will the TV cameras see during game telecasts? What members of the audience will they see?
Well, probably not the media. I know, you know, now I will tell you this, Rob, if we had a priority seating program for the media, and it was based, you know, you have to take into account length of service. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. All right, you'd have the best seats in the house. Absolutely. Generally what happens is those cameras are going down on the team benches. And the one thing that is really actually reflected incorrectly in this picture, and probably the only thing that is that on the, what is now the east side, okay, that has courtside seats. And on this side, on the west side, are our team benches. Those will flip. Our team benches would actually be in front of what is our student section on the east side.
So does that mean that we'll see students jumping up and down and not perhaps more elderly fans?
Well, you're going to see students jumping up and down. Now, the question, Rob, is are they jumping up and down more than Coach Gross? See, now that we both have them in the same line, you can see who actually does a better leg kick. But no, it's, you'll see, I think for us, in having a real student presence, you see all those types of programs. When you watch college basketball, you see their students, you see their fans. And also when you're starting over here, you also will notice how much closer the action is to the floor now, including the student piece. And I think having our students as part of that is important. Matter of fact, one of the 4 clubs that we will have, and we've just got to determine whether the students are going to be on the north or the south end, is an Orange Crush Club. And we might be the only facility in the country that has a club that's dedicated to their student organization. That's it.
Are those seats retractable so you could have more floor space for other events, or?
Yes. Yeah, for sure on the one side they're retractable, because you have to remember that we will have other things going on in there, and this building was also designed taking into account the fact that we have a star theater, we do rock shows, we do craft shows, we do pro wrestling, we do everything. I mean, just as you know, it's a multi-use facility, and I think that's one of the things that makes it special, not just for this campus, but for this community, because at the end of the day, I look at the Assembly Hall as really a campus jewel. It's really something special, and we're intending to make it much more special.
Mike, does your main scoreboard remain the same, and if the picture's accurate, it looks like you're installing some strip scoreboards or something?
Well, we will have an overhang. It won't be the existing overhang. But we will, all the video, the technology, that will all be new. We will have a new overhang, and we will have ribbon boards in place, yes.
Mike, you talked about fundraising, and that's your main focus now. I don't know how in-depth you can get, but how far along are you guys, and how's that been going so far?
Yeah, I'm not going to give a lot of detail, but as I said, I really feel good about where we are today. I think that we are making great progress in all areas. Are we where we eventually need to be? No, we still have a lot of work to do, but we've been in front of a lot of people, as you could imagine, private and corporate. I'm confident that we'll get to where we need to go. Once again, our iFund staff has done an absolutely wonderful job. Our ticket office, our DIA staff, the university staff, because the foundation is involved in this. And I will tell you this, both President Easter and Chancellor Wise, to them, this is a priority as well. This is a very important project and a very significant project, because for us, this is a campus facility that we have the pleasure of playing basketball in. And once again, it's exciting. And we've made a lot of progress, but as I said, we still have a lot of work to do.
Will you have to make an adjustment in basketball ticket prices?
We're not making adjustments. The plan isn't really to make any adjustments any different than normal increases that our folks would incur from year to year.
The actual color of the seats, are they as indicated? Will there be orange seats, blue seats, and what up top, gray seats, or I don't know?
No, right now it's as you see it. I don't anticipate, I would figure, Mark, you've had enough of gray seats. But no, I'm a big believer. I think everything that we should do, every facility that is part of our inventory facilities in athletics should bleed orange and blue, and all of them should tell and reflect your great history of your programs. So no, we'll stick with the orange and blue. Will it look exactly like that? Might be a little bit fluid, but at this point in time, we're pretty set on what you see today.
Can you do anything with the exterior to alleviate the falling ice and snow problem that we're having today, for example? So people have not been able to access doors for certain games. They've all been led through the guard shack and down the stairs.
Well, there will be some work done to the roof. It won't be starting over, taking the roof off and starting over, but it'll be a renovation, so to speak, of the existing roof. I'll be honest, I don't know if Tom Michael can help with this answer, but I don't think at this point in time we've addressed the configuration or those types of things that would take care of the things that you're talking about today, Rob.
Could you give us the percentage of the funding for the project, how much is coming from each of the sources of funding?
Wow. Well, I can tell you, I don't think I can give you all those figures today, Julie. I know it was pretty public during the student referendum piece. I believe it was about 17%. And I think folks generally look at that on a $160 million facility, but you've got to remember, no different than those of you that pay a mortgage. You know, you pay interest, you have debt on that every year. So the real cost of doing this project, once you've paid it off after 30 years or so, it is probably somewhere in the line of 260 to 300 million. So the student piece, I think we feel pretty comfortable about that percentage. I don't know if Rick or Warren, if any of you have those percentages. I didn't bring those with me, Julian. I don't have them committed to memory, but maybe one of those gentlemen can help you.
Just a round number. It is over 75% of the project is philanthropy, various forms, corporate and individuals, and foundations.
Yes.
What kind of new shows or venues is this renovation trying to bring in order to bolster revenue and just bring that, these type of shows into the area?
Well, I think there might be some things right now that we can't cater to that would provide opportunities in the future. Once again, we'll program for another 3 or 4 months. I know Kevin's here. Kevin oversees the programming of this building, really outside of the athletic events. Kevin, I don't know if you want to share any thoughts that you have on future programming and how it might look different in a new assembly hall.
Yeah, the real thing that's been talked about is the hydraulic, or the platforms are on the sides. The seating, as you see the bowl right now, those are all the hydraulic platforms that will slide back up, giving us a bigger footprint on the floor. 160 roughly, which is a pretty small footprint for the monster truck shows, for the other shows that need a bigger footprint for staging. There are shows we have lost in the past based upon the footprint, so this will give us a bigger footprint to work with. A good example, 2 years ago, there was a big family show called Walking with Dinosaurs. Well, we couldn't do that show unless we chopped off some tails of those dinosaurs because the footprint wasn't big enough to handle that right on the floor. So those are some shows that we'll be able to go after. Plus, you know, now that we're talking summer programming, we could get into the convention business during the summer as well with AC and a bigger footprint too. So there are other programming opportunities out there.
And we also have opportunities no different than the West Tower at Memorial Stadium, where we do a lot of things really outside the box. Maybe they're not so outside the box anymore, whether people are holding wedding receptions or actually getting married in that space. As you can imagine, with a big club that's 8,000 square feet, that provides a lot of opportunities for you, even if something's not happening down on the floor. One of the reasons is you see the drawing right here. You see the tunnel that currently exists where the teams and players, the game officials go off the floor. There's an additional tunnel there, and that really was put in place for efficiency's sake when we are turning over buildings, going from a concert to a basketball game. It allows us to work on both events at the same time. But the other thing is, once you access that tunnel, just inside of it will be where we'll have our courtside club, which is one of our four clubs.
Mike, what about transporting patrons into the upper reaches? Are you doing escalators or anything like that?
Certainly, Mark, we'll have to look at all of those types of things. And you know, when you put a building, I guess in our case, into the 21st century, you've got to pay attention to codes. So things that maybe weren't in place or didn't have to be addressed 50 years ago, you have to address today, whether it's elevators, whether it's escalators, whether it's meeting ADA requirements to make sure that you're taking care of all those folks who deserve or have ADA requirements. So we will abide by all of those types of things. And you know, one thing's about the architects, whether the firm that we secured from the outside, AECOM, or our university architects, they have a pretty good grasp of those types of things, and certainly we will be paying attention to those kind of things as we continue to design this facility renovation.
Can I follow that with a question about ADA? Because the university has always striven to be a leader with accessibility. Is there any possibility that you will go beyond ADA requirements to accommodate persons with disabilities?
You know, we really haven't had those discussions at this point in time, Rob, gotten into that level of detail. Certainly, we will have those discussions in the future as to what is the right number, and making sure that we're meeting the needs of those individuals who want to come to the Assembly Hall, not just for basketball, but for all the things that we've already talked about here today.
Anything else for,
one more on suites. 12 suites pictured there. How many does each suite accommodate, Mike?
The suite accommodates in real seating 14, but individuals will have the opportunity to purchase 4 additional tickets. So the capacity, the overall capacity for a suite is 18.
Thank you, Mike. Like I said before, we've got several people here that are available for one-on-ones. Head coach John Gross,